Welcome book lovers to Creatives on the Couch, presented by ASJ Publishing. I'm your host, Christine Medafrey, and today I'm speaking with C.A.Milson regarding his series of novels, the Rise series, and especially the third one of that series, which is She's Not So Ordinary. So welcome to the couch, Chris.
Thank you.
So, to start off with, Chris, when did you realise that you were a storyteller?
I did have a brief stint in high school where I was asked to do a book report about horses, but I didn't like to read all that much, so I came up with a very short story, which I submitted in.
So instead of reading a book and writing a report on it, you wrote your own book?
Yeah, very short, 4-page.
How'd it go?
Got top marks, and of course I was hugely embarrassed in the class because the teacher decided to make a public announcement in front of all the other kids in the class. It's like if I could have, when hid under a rock, I would have done.
You see, being a girl, I would have loved that, but you obviously were embarrassed. But there was obviously some talent there.
Oh, yeah.
Rather than read, you wanted to write
at
that point. Mm-hmm. But you didn't actually write a short story until 89.
89, I wrote 21 short stories.
So all of a sudden, something was unleashed.
Yep, it took about 6 months.
Wow.
One short story after another, all different genres. Sci-fi, thriller, horror.
And so...
kids' books.
What was it that sparked off such a burst of creativity?
1994, I was living in Brisbane and I was looking at the short stories, and I should rewrite one of these, and it started with, pulled out Shack of Evil, I can rewrite this. So I started to, and I did. It was a 300-page story.
So it went from 9 to 300 and something
300
pages.
In 2 parts. And at the time I called it Dark World.
Dark World, which is now...
Rise of the Darkness. Yeah. And it was... I introduced a lot more characters into it, like Alex and Drake and Usher, and of course Wang and Allison.
A lot of the series, and we're going to talk mainly about the third in the series, She's Not So Ordinary, but in the first 2, there is a lot about evil, and I'm interested to know if you believe that evil exists out there. Not just as a part of what men do, but as an entity. Do you believe in the devil? I'm asking Kaiser Solsay from The Usual Suspects. Remember his quote?
Well, I believe the devil exists.
Yeah.
You cannot have good in the world without having evil. You cannot have blessing without cursing.
It's the dual nature of things, according to the Buddhists.
That's the way that it has to be.
Yes. And one of your characters seems to take the devil in his stride and then take it a step or 2 further.
Oh, you're talking about C.A.Milson. Gotta love him, eh? C.A.Milson has the makeup of every mass murder, psycho, serial killer in history. And then magnify that.
Yeah, well, he certainly scares me. I just don't want to meet his mother. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, you wouldn't want to. She's dead.
Because behind so many serial killers, there is a mother. They're finding that such a strong pattern.
She was sort of normal, except for, being an abusive parent.
Right.
But that's not the thing that triggered it. It triggered his descent into darkness. So
really what we're talking about here is a bad seed. Evil that was always going to be evil. Yeah.
Evil who was born to be evil and then, perfected it.
And who worked at it.
Oh, he's got to work at his craft.
Made it an art form. You talk about him like you have a little affection for him.
Well,
is it because he can... Well, he can take you anywhere, really, and he can go anywhere into places beyond our even our wildest imagination. That's so, isn't it?
He's extremely charismatic. There's not a person on the planet he couldn't charm.
Yeah, which they say is a trait of many serial killers too. So we'll pause on that note and we'll be back after these messages. Welcome back to Creatives on the Couch. I'm speaking with C.A.Milson about his series of books, The Bloodline, The Chosen, and writing is a fairly lonely task, especially if you're alone with such evil characters as you have conjured up. Did you show your work to anyone? Did you find encouragement anywhere? Did you?
Yeah, the first person that I actually shared Dark World with was Julian, and she really encouraged me to actually just push on and get it done. And get
Dark
it
World
finished.
became Rise of the Darkness.
Rise of the Darkness. So yeah, because she was the first one that actually believed in me, and that was.
Except for that teacher that made you want to crawl under a rock, and that was the next time. So you need that. I think you need it as a writer, and you need that other eye having a look.
Do.
You know, someone, because I think it's the loneliest job in the world.
Well, you know, it goes by the John Farnham song, "One is the loneliest number."
So unless you're co-writing, which, speaking of co-writing, you co-wrote She's Not So Ordinary.
Yeah, with a guy who lives in Canada. He used to be one of the main script writers for the wrestling.
Right.
So, and he jumped on board because he loved the idea, so yeah.
And how did you find, because I find co-writing hard, how did you find co-writing? Did you take a draft, did you do one draft each, or did you take certain chapters?
We kind of just bounced ideas off each other.
Okay.
The whole process, and it took us several months to get the whole idea down.
And it never got ugly?
No.
Wow.
No, not at all, because it was a lot of fun.
Oh, right, so you had a good time. So
yeah, because he has some, JD has some pretty wicked ideas.
So,
yeah.
And I think you have a certain soft spot for wickedness.
I do.
Call me crazy, but I'm sensing this. So now you're working on the screenplay and pre-production for the feature film of She's Not So Ordinary.
Yes, I am.
Tell us all about it.
What would you like to know?
Well, I mean, it's every writer's dream to have their novel made into a feature film. But this isn't the first in the series. So first of all, why did you choose the third novel?
Well, Rise of Darkness is in pre-production with the company in Queensland. They're looking to get funding to actually get it done. They've already done the trailer for it.
Even better.
Yeah. So, and the trailer looks really, really good. So, and She's Not So Ordinary, that started out as just being a short film. But with everything that needs to go into it and what I've added so far, it's not going to fit 45-minute runtime. So, and a few of the main actors, they've already said to me, you need to turn this into a feature film because this is going to be huge. Okay, fair enough, let's do that. Yeah.
So are you enjoying the process of writing the screenplay, and do you find it very different to writing a novel?
It's a lot different because at the moment it's 27 pages, the screenplay, so I need to expand that quite a lot in order to get the result that I want.
Yes.
And it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
And a lot of work.
Yes, but you're planning to start shooting
January
next year, so you have to really move.
Yeah.
Go fast.
Yeah. Go full on.
And what's the most interesting part about the transformation from novel to screenplay and then eventually to film? Do you find yourself focusing on certain areas and delegating others to... What do you find most interesting?
Actually, writing the book is more interesting for me.
Right. So,
Because you have to come up with the scenarios. You have to create alternate worlds, towns, people. You got to pretty much, be...
it's the first act of creation, and then everything
Yeah.
else after that is interpretation
Yeah, and
of
you
the
need
original.
to know exactly where you're going to take the entire storyline, of what you want to see happen in the following chapters. You need to see what's happening at the end, how you want it to end.
And so are you envisioning, I'm not giving anything away here, but are you envisioning a different end or anything different happening, any significant changes with this?
In the film, it will be a similar ending to in the book. Similar.
Which would leave the whole series drama open to
interpretation.
further novels or further...
Yeah, there is another book planned, Prophecy's End, which will be book 4. And I already know how that's starting, and I know the middle, and I know how it's going to end.
So you basically know what's happening in Prophecy's End.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know what was happening in Prophecy's End before you wrote Rise of the Darkness? Did you think that far ahead, and were you that well planned?
No. I did have 3 books originally planned, but now it's going to be expanded out to maybe 5. Because after Prophecy's End, there's one called the Book of Mizunabite, which actually takes place 5,000 years ago.
Wow.
Of how it all began, which actually was touched on in Bloodline.
So that's a real prequel.
Yeah.
That's the prequel to end all prequels.
That's how, in the Book of Mizunabite, that actually goes into how Tanzak became ruler of Mesopotamia.
Right.
The former one.
Do you do a lot of historical research, or do you just use what comes from history to suit you?
Sometimes it's a bit of history, sometimes it's a bit of biblical research.
Right.
And mixing them in. Like the sum of, in the Book of Revelation, in one of the chapters it talks about how there was a great war in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought, and the dragon and his angels fought, and the dragon was kicked out of heaven and his place was no more, right? So I took one of those, the former ones, it was actually Tanzak, so he was one of the ones that was kicked out of paradise.
Yeah, so he's got a fair axe to grind.
Yes, he does. He wants to see the destruction of humanity. But then again, so does C.A.Milson.
So Alex has got his work cut out.
Oh, yeah.
And Alex is a reluctant, he's like so many heroes, he's reluctant.
Yeah, he is.
In his calling.
Yeah, he would rather...
Be happy?
Be happy. Pretty much. He just wants to be happy. He wants the life that he did have.
The happy life.
He had his life all set until everything was taken away from him.
And we're not going to tell you who did that, but...
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But yeah, that's all he wanted. And
so he's really an ordinary in that sense.
Yeah.
But extraordinarily gifted.
Extraordinarily gifted, and if he fails, then the lives of 7 billion people are on his head.
So no pressure.
No pressure. No pressure at all. It's going to take one for the team,
Yes. So we shall return to find out more after these messages. And welcome back to Creatives on the Couch, and I'm speaking with C.A.Milson, and we've been talking about some chilling adventures with the likes of C.A.Milson and Tanzak.
Yeah.
And if you thought what came before was scary, let's take a little peek at Prophecy's End.
Yes.
Just a few
Let's journey
hints.
through the gates.
Nothing
Shall
too
we?
scary.
Oh, nothing too scary. I will say that in Prophecy's End, Jameson has come back. He has evolved to the next level of what he should be, which is, if you thought he was scary before, then you ain't seen nothing yet.
Great. So the stakes get higher and more,
Oh, yeah.
or more horrible.
Well, I will say that I can say this about Tanzak, that he is no more.
He is no more.
Uh-huh.
So he's really gone.
Oh yeah, he hasn't just left. I mean,
The building,
he hasn't just left the building. I mean, he's been
annihilated.
erased from existence by Jameson.
Because Jameson can do this.
Oh yeah.
And a lot worse.
Oh yeah.
So we're all concerned about Alex.
People should be.
We are. And Alex is going to fight the good fight for us.
Yeah, he'll fight the good fight, like the Apostle Paul. But yeah, people will have to read to see how it plays out.
I hope it doesn't play out like the end of the Apostle Paul. He's one of my favourite apostles.
Yeah, he
Just
was
so you know.
extraordinarily gifted.
Yes.
Very powerful.
And some say that if it wasn't for the Apostle Paul, Christianity would not have spread and become such a political strength for the Romans at the time,
Well, that's
because
true
Paul
because
spread the message,
Paul
all the
had
letters,
Jewish and Roman citizenship.
and Paul
so he was-
travelled and spread the message.
Mhm, he certainly did.
So,
There was nothing that guy couldn't do.
and is there any hope of happiness for Alex, because he does have such a burden on him that maybe readers would like to see him have some joy before it's snatched from him again?
I may bring some characters back in to Prophecy's End.
Ah,
May do.
that would be...
I think there has to be some kind of closure in those.
Yes.
But other characters will just be,
I get your picture. Yeah. Dead.
Yeah.
Once they're gone.
yeah.
Oh. Well, do you ever get stuck? Do you ever just can't figure out, do you write yourself into a corner, or do you get writer's block where you just can't?
Oh yeah, I had writer's block with Bloodline of Darkness for the longest time. I got to a certain point, I couldn't figure out where I should take it. Then,
Right.
it took months and months, and then when it finally dawned on me, oh yeah, I will have Alex go through all these sequences, alternate realities. So he wakes up in the apartment and one thing happens after another, and then
That recurring Groundhog Day nightmare, that
exactly.
I hope I'm not giving away too much, but that was like, that
Yeah,
was
but-
freaky in itself.
Yeah, so that's what I did, and then it just flowed from there.
With Jameson, because he worries me, Alex seems to have his victories over him, seems to get rid of him. How does he get back?
Well, in Bloodline of Darkness, Jameson was there. He's the one that actually came to the rescue, sort of thing. And people will wonder, well, how did he manage to do that since he was incarcerated at the end of Book 1? And here's how. In Prophecy's End, he actually comes back. Now, he doesn't just magically get set free, but he actually does it through a dream sequence of one of the other characters. She actually has these recurring dreams that she's pregnant. And even though it may just seem like a dream, it's actually not, because Jameson finds a way back through this woman, and he actually implants himself into her womb. So she's actually pregnant, and boom, come forth.
So it is like a reversal of Christ's birth. It's like the Antichrist.
Oh, Antichrist's got nothing on this guy.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no.
Antichrist is, troublesome as a cloudy day.
Ah. Right, so viewers be warned.
Yeah, viewers be warned that this Prophecy's End is not for the squeamish.
Or the faint-hearted.
or the faint-hearted.
So do you sometimes scare yourself?
Yeah.
Where did these
do.
ideas come from?
I just see things that are going on in the world sometimes, and I think, oh yeah, I can use that.
On that note,
On that note,
you must tell us where these amazing novels are available.
the Chosen series is available through asjpublishing.com and Amazon. People can also get the audio book of Rise of Darkness through any one of about 300 distributors online.
Gosh.
Yeah, Audible, Xbox, there's no limit.
So they
Yeah.
really want to get hold of them before
Yeah.
before the films come out.
Or they can wait until the game comes out in 2018.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
So you've covered all the bases.
I've covered everything.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, well, good luck with it all.
Uh-huh.
Best of luck with the feature film
Thank
and the
you.
game
And the game.
and Prophecy's End.
Oh,
and
yeah.
thank you so much for coming and talking to us on Creatives on the Couch.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was C.A.Milson on Creatives on the Couch, and we look forward to seeing you next time.